Good evening, everyone. Hello. Today is Monday, December 16th, 2024, and I now call the Winton Woods City School Board meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 1.03, roll call. Mr. Seymour, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Knighton?
Present.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Spielman?
Present.
Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Ms. Bryant?
Present. The next item on the agenda is 2.01, district honors, recognitions, gifts, and introductions. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks, President Bryant. We actually do have a special event this evening, though, too. And it's a performance by the Winton Woods Varsity Ensemble. So we will have the distinct pleasure of inviting everyone in the room to transition with us to the Learning Stairs. And we get to listen to one of the best vocal groups in all of Ohio, so in all of our great states. So we'd like to go ahead and invite that at this time if we could.
Yes. Love to do that.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Beth Chakowski. I am the Director of Choirs at Winton Woods High School, and I am also joined by Mr. Alex Kress, the Associate Director, who is also an alumni. We are joined here with Varsity Ensemble, our top ensemble at the high school. We just recently returned on Friday afternoon from Walt Disney World. We had a fantastic time. We got to, please. They did such a fantastic job. They performed at Disney Springs, formerly known as Downtown Disney, and then we got to enjoy the parks, and we were also joined with the marching band as well. I have to say my favorite moment performing at Downtown Disney or Disney Springs was we were in the middle of a performance, and if you know the area, the stage is right there in the main area across from World of Disney. If you know the big spitting stitch, that's where that's at. And just behind us is the lake and the Rainforest Cafe volcano. Well, we had the ever so wonderful pleasure of creating our own Disney magic as we were in the middle of a fermata, which I was holding out a piece. I cut them off and the volcano just erupted. It was amazing. So we will be performing two pieces. The first one will be Veni Veni Emmanuel, followed by We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
Veni, 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 Emmanuel. Veni, 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 Emmanuel. Veni, 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 Emmanuel. Veni, a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We bring wherever we go. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Figgy pudding. Now bring some out here, for we won't go until we won't go. We won't go until we won't go. We won't go until we won't go. So bring some out here. Oh, a very, very Merry Christmas. And a very Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you we wish you the best. We wish you good health, luck, and prosperity. And a Happy New Year. Oh, very, 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 very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Wonderful performance by our choir. I'm just like on the holiday high now. I'm like, okay, we're done. No. Merry Christmas, everyone. No, that was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And with great appreciation to Varsity Ensemble and the skill, the talent, the technique, just the time and effort is amazing, and they continue to impress. So very thankful for that musical selection, those two musical selections that they performed this evening. We're at 2.01 on the agenda at this point, and that is District Honors Recognitions, Gifts, and Introductions. And so we would like to just go ahead and get right into it. We have a lot of great things going on and some wonderful young people and a teacher and several adults to recognize this evening and express appreciation towards. So we'll begin with the Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award. Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month Award is sponsored by the Horace Mann Educators Corporation, a business partner of Winton City Schools. Students who are honored receive a Chipotle gift card, so that's pretty great. To be nominated for this award, the Fine Arts Student of the Month Award, students must maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or higher in the previous quarter, show respect for directors, fellow ensemble members, contest adjudicators, teachers, other students, and family. They must show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to rehearsals, concerts, personal skill development, also demonstrate honesty and integrity, and have high moral character. So the December 2024 Horace Mann Fine Arts Student of the Month goes to 8th grade student in band, choir, and orchestra, Laxon Dehal. Come on up, Laxon. Thank you. You go ahead and join me here at the podium, and we'll have one of our board members join you as well, because I get to read some really nice things about you. All right. Laxon excels in band, choir, and orchestra, impressing his teachers and peers with his outstanding talent and dedication. In band, he demonstrates both technical skill and musical expression, becoming a key player in the ensemble. In choir, his voice control, pitch, and range add depth to the group. As a member of the orchestra, Laxon plays with precision and emotion, and his ability to collaborate and lead has made him an essential part of the ensemble. His passion for music, strong work ethic, and respectful attitude make him an incredible role model for his peers. Laxon's growth as a musician this year has been remarkable, and we are excited to see his continued success. Way to go, Laxon. So, Laxon, if you would go ahead and join Mr. Smith, our board member. We have a photo opportunity here.
Unless you want to sing for us. Come on, bro.
Mr. Smith, Laxon, could you hang on a second? We also have a plaque for you this
Bring his
evening.
family. And do you have family with you?
Make sure we get that.
Mom, Dad?
The family come on.
Yes.
Congratulations. Smile, Jackson. Come on, bro.
He's real chill.
He is like, this is all you get.
I'm good. How nice one. All right, there we go. Jackson, smile.
That's his best friend.
Old school. I love it.
That would be my favorite thing, like, on a smile, you can't even say that.
Exactly.
All right, the next student we have the opportunity and privilege of honoring this evening is a sixth grade student. This is the Kiwanis Character is Key Caring Award. We'd also like to have Mr. Dave Bell, please kindly, if you would, join us at the podium. Students are selected for the Kiwanis Character is Key Caring Award based on the following description. Caring means showing a genuine attitude for the feelings of others, showing compassion, understanding, and helping others by using kind words and actions. The Kiwanis Character is Key Caring Award is sponsored by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of Winton City Schools, and the student so honored will receive a La Rosa's gift card as a part of the award. I'd like to read the following, let's call her up. So this is sixth grade student, Kiwanis is Key Character is Key Caring, Student of the Month Award for December 2024, Ava Mays. And Ava, if you'd hang out up here with us for just a moment, I also get to read some wonderfully nice things about you as well. This comes from Miss Fields, your principal. Ava Mays is a remarkable sixth grader. She consistently demonstrates kindness and respect toward her peers and teachers. Whether it's offering assistance to a struggling classmate or volunteering to help with various classroom tasks, Ava is always ready to lend a hand. Her natural leadership abilities shine through as she often takes initiative to guide and help support her peers. I believe Ava has the potential to be an excellent educator in the future. Ava, could we have Miss Fields join you? And then did you bring anyone with you this evening as well? Okay, let's have those folks come up too if we could, please.
Just point at those people.
Oh,
Picture.
Congratulations.
The next award this evening is the December Kiwanis Student of the Month, and that is also sponsored, as you might guess, by the Green Hills Forest Park Kiwanis Club, a partner of Winton City Schools. So we'd like to honor and call up at this time 10th grade student Catherine Mendoza Cisneros. And I'd love to read some wonderful things about Catherine. Catherine Mendoza Cisneros is a sophomore at Wentwood High School. Catherine has been working very hard this year. As a freshman, Catherine had a few academic challenges. The challenges caused her to attend summer school, which she successfully completed all of the required coursework in less than the 4-week summer school period. I have seen tremendous growth in Catherine, writes 910 L through Z counselor at Wentwood High School, Miss Kim Goins. She is making sure she is being a superstar in the classroom. Her first quarter GPA was, wait for it, 3.57. And she is well on her way for a repeat performance this second quarter. Catherine has also taken on the initiative to become more involved in what Winton Woods has to offer. She's been working with Miss Becca in the area of sports medicine at our high school. Miss Becca has shared the following about Catherine. So this is directly from her, Miss Becca, our athletic trainer at the high school. Catherine is a student who has provided value to the sports medicine student aid program, but more than that, she is a student who has started to take pride and ownership in who she is as a person and a student. I've watched her go from an attitude of, okay, I'll do it, to taking pride in her grades and desiring to be a part of the Winton Woods community and excelling. She's always ready to learn about sports and anything in the world of medicine. And she went from some struggles in her academics at the end of last year to having all A's at the end of the first quarter. That's tremendous.
Fantastic.
I have also had several interactions where she could have taken an easy road and not shared information perhaps, but instead she chose to be open and transparent and even told me information prior to me even asking. You probably know what she's talking about, right? Yeah, I'm sure. She is a student who takes initiative and will step up when she sees the need. It is with absolute great pleasure that I nominate Catherine Mendoza Cisneros for the Kiwanis Student of the Month Award. Catherine, who'd you bring with you this evening? We'd love to invite them up. Please.
Fantastic.
The next award is the December 2024 Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award. To be nominated for this award, students must do the following: maintain an academic standard of 3.0 GPA or above in the previous quarter, show respect for coaches, teammates, officials, teachers, other students, and family, show enthusiasm and a positive attitude, display commitment to practice, games, and personal skill development, demonstrate honesty and playing by the rules, and have high moral character. Skyline Student Athlete of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and students who are so honored, as you might imagine, are going to receive a Skyline gift card. I'd like to call at this time 12th grade cheer athlete, Emarie Crawford Blackwell. Emarie, this is written by your cheer coach, Miss Plummer. I don't think she was able to be here this evening, otherwise we'd invite her up as well. But I'll go ahead and read this because it's some really great stuff. We get to brag on you a bit. Emarie is a valued member of the Wintonwood's cheer team. During practice, she helps younger team members, and they really look to her as an older sister and an example. She's a member of both the sideline team and the competition team. She attends each practice and is focused on how to become a better cheerleader. She wants to cheer in college and is putting in all the necessary work to be great at the next level. Congratulations, Marie. And Marie, who might you have brought with you this evening? Yes. Come on up, folks, please. Blackwell Crawford family.
You want to give us some cheer demonstrations? We don't want to limit you, that's all. Try this and then this. Congratulations again.
All right, the next award this evening is the December 2024 Skyline Teacher of the Month Award. To be nominated for this award, teachers must demonstrate the following: excellence in the classroom by using instructional practices that support higher academic achievement, motivation by encouraging and motivating students to surpass their expectations both academically and socially, leadership by having a positive attitude with students, parents, colleagues, and community, creativity and imagination by demonstrating creativity in teaching and in a way that inspires students to learn, dedication by showing excellent attendance, punctuality, and overall dependability, and finally, communication by communicating effectively to their classrooms, their parents, colleagues, and beyond. Skyline Teacher of the Month Award is sponsored by the Forest Park Skyline Chili Restaurant, a business partner of Winton City Schools, and teachers who are so honored receive a Skyline Chili gift certificate. This time, it's my distinct pleasure to call forward Miss Maggie Thaxton. Ms. Thaxton, I have here a description of the award and the nomination written by Ms. Fields, Mr. Giblin, and Mr. Hargrove. So I'd like to read that if I could at this time. Ms. Thaxton is a valuable asset to Wentwood City Schools, as well as the ESL team at South Campus, due to her exceptional knowledge and experience with a diverse array of instructional materials. This deep understanding allows her to tailor her instruction to meet the unique needs of each student, regardless of their English language proficiency level. Whether working with newcomers or more advanced English language learners, Ms. Thaxton consistently leverages her expertise to provide the most effective support. Her dedication and her skill are truly appreciated. Thanks, Ms. Thaxton. And did you bring anyone else with you this evening? Ms. Fields. Oh, come on up, Ms. Fields. Yay. Thank you very much. At this point, we turn to honoring someone who has a long-standing relationship in the community and with our school district. We could not be more thankful for this individual. He has recently retired. Those of you that have had the pleasure of knowing this person know he means a great deal to us. He's not only been a wonderful example to the many students that we've had come through our schools, but also to the adults and people like me. So I kind of want to be like him when I grow up. But I do truly think a lot of this person, and I very much appreciate what he's done and the service he's rendered over the years. And I just want to make sure that we pause this evening and recognize Student Resource Officer at Wentwoods High School, recently retired Officer Veda Harris. We got you something nice too, Officer Harris.
We do like for you to say something.
Would you like to say a few words? Mr. Smith certainly
Now,
thinks
you
you should.
guys know I can talk a lot. So.
Don't worry, I got you.
I just want to say thank you. It's been 16, 17 years. Had some good times, some rough times. The Colonel will tell you. And I'll still be around. I'm kind of floating. I think I surprised Mr. Denny here at the game the other night. I had my sheriff uniform on. He's, Chief called me a traitor, so. But I'm still in the game. I'm just part-time in it now. So, and I appreciate every one of you. A lot of you I've known since, especially all these here. So I've known them since they was babies, and so it's an honor, and I just want to say thank you. See, I kept it short.
Thank you. We also have a community appreciation award this evening, and this goes out to someone in the community that has made a huge impact with coming alongside families and helping them make better holiday season, to be quite honest with you. So I'd like to just briefly recognize or give a quick description. There was recently an event to donate, I believe the number, I've heard two different numbers, so I need to confirm it, but I believe it was at least 700 turkeys and hams given away. Mr. Day, is that accurate? Yes. And this occurred in conjunction, cooperation with the school system in terms of just giving them a venue with which to have that many people come pick up that many holiday meals. But this was recently 700 meals given away, and I think it was 300 or 400 last year. Mm-hmm. And the impression that made on us as a district and as a team was just massive. And we thought that's an amazing thing to do. She's a longtime business owner here in the community, and her name is Dr. Monica Swope from Kingdom Family Dentistry. And so thank you, everyone in attendance, for joining us and acknowledging her and applauding, because that's tremendous. She couldn't be with us this evening, so we'll reach out to her again next month, see if we can make that connection. We just want to pause and honor her and recognize what she's done and how many families she's helped, and that's just truly the Warrior Way, so we appreciate that. Finally, last but not least, we have a Community Spirit Award this evening. The Community Spirit Award is presented to an organization or individual to recognize their significant and long-term contribution to the Winton Woods City School District and community over a period of years. So there's a gentleman here this evening that we really wanted to make sure we honored, because he has definitely contributed to the district, the community in a positive way. He's made a huge impact on, and I'll just share, he's made an impact on me personally. I've known this gentleman for many years. He is a very proud member of the Forest Park Police Department. He also happens to be the chief. So we'd like to take a moment this evening and honor and call up Colonel William Arms, Forest Park Police.
I definitely will not talk as long as Veda, but I did teach him everything he knows. I'm very honored. The police department is also very honored to be recognized by the school district. I think that our partnership is as strong as it ever has been, and I know that the men and women of both Forest Park and Green Hills have the safety of the schools as our number one paramount concern each and every moment of every day. And to that end, I just thank you for all your cooperation in making our job easier in that endeavor.
Thank you, Chief. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smith. And President Bryant, that now concludes the District Honors Recognitions, Gifts, and Introductions.
You don't have an introduction? Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
That's right. The next item on the agenda is 3.01 public comments. Mr. Seymour, do we have any public comments? No. Seeing none, we'll move to the next agenda item, 4.01, which is the recess. The board will recess for 5 minutes. Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is 5.01. Comments to the board from the associations. Do we have a representative from Winton Woods Teacher Association? Seeing none. 5.02. Do we have an Ohio Association of Public School Employee OPSE representative present today? All right. Moving right along to approval of minutes. First, number 6.01, approval of the minutes. So board to waive the reading of the minutes from.
Yes, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes for the following meetings: regular meeting November the 18th, 2024, and regular meeting December the 2nd, 2024.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Thank you, Brandon. Board has been motioned and second. Any questions or items for discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is 6.02, to approve the minutes as presented. Board, a motion is in order.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Dr. Johnson will second.
Yeah, I'll second
Thank
it.
you, Mr. Spillman. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Board, any items for discussion?
I just want to ask, I believe I need to abstain from one of these I missed, but I forget which one it was.
That would have been the December 2nd regular meeting.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to clarify before we take a vote.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Knighton. Any other comments or items for discussion? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
I for 11/18 regular meeting, and I abstain on the 12/2.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously for 11/18 and one abstention for the 12/2. 2 meeting. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 7.0, Treasurer's Report, 7.01, Financial Statements for November 2024. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, for the month of November, total year-to-date revenues in the general fund were at 27.9 million. Our month-to-date revenues were at 31 million. Our month-to-date was 3.1 million, and 2.4 million of that was state foundation, and 300,000 was our Hamilton County Auditor Assessment Rebate, which I shared with you at the prior meeting. And then, of course, some interest earnings of 105,000. Also, our total year-to-date expenditures in the general fund are at 24.4 million, which is approximately 3.7% under budget currently. Also, you have before you the current balance of all funds unencumbered of 22 million, and a list of each individual fund has been provided for you. I also want to mention as part of the financial statements for this month, providing the board approves the January 3rd as the organizational meeting. At 12 o'clock on January 3rd, we will have our budget hearing for anybody who might be interested in coming to that. That's our tax budget that we file with the Hamilton County Auditor's Office. And then the board actually approves it at the organizational meeting. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. Board, the motion is in order?
Board, I move that we review the financial statements as presented and filed for audit.
Audit, yep. Thank you. I do have a question. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for that one. You said, Mr. Seymour, that our budget is 3.7 under budget
Currently.
and is there a reason for that? Just because the market changes
Well,
the investment?
we're going to have some big expenditures coming up in January, so that might change in January. But I'm just sharing with you, like, month to month, where we're at on 1/12 of the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
That has been filed for audit. Next item on the agenda is 8.01, Treasurer Recommendation, Investments for November 2024. Mr. Seymour, you have the floor.
Yes, Board, we had 33 million invested during the month of November. Of that, the general fund earned 120,000, and the building funds are still earning, and they earned $14,660. And for a total interest earnings of 120,600.
Thank you. Board, a motion is in order?
I move that we approve the investment report as presented.
I'll second.
Been motioned and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Bless you. Next item on the agenda is 9.0, reports of the superintendent. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant, and good evening again, Board. Good evening, everyone. School reports for this month, the upcoming school events. Have some really wonderful things happening across the balance of this month as we approach winter break and then heading into the new calendar year after break in January. So just a couple things to really highlight. South Campus, the 6th grade band and orchestra concert is coming up tomorrow night. Highly recommended. We have some great basketball games coming up with girls varsity against Milford Thursday, as well as boys at home against Milford as well. So highly recommend that. Shout out to South Campus, primary school, elementary school, and intermediate school for their Student of the Month celebration coming up this Friday as well. And then, of course, we kick off winter break beginning Monday the 23rd. So wishing everyone a wonderful holiday break. And then back in January, getting back into the full swing of things pretty quickly with varsity games coming up. January 6th is Student Records Day, but then classes do resume and school reopens on Tuesday, January 7th. And that is also the beginning of third quarter. So this is our assessment week for many of our students and wrapping up and getting grades in and all of those good things. So just encouraging our young people to make sure that they're about their business and taking care of all those things. I don't know that we've had this many pages in the past, Board. There's a lot of fantastic things. So not to hit them all, But there is, on Saturday, the 18th of January, we can boast that we have the OMEA, the Ohio Music Educator Association District 14 Junior High Honor Orchestra competition here at North Campus. So pretty excited about that. A chance to host that in our new facilities, obviously. Dr. King weekend on Monday the 20th. And then make sure we highlight also, we have a high school girls wrestling match at Mechanicsburg. That's coming up. And we have a high school boys and girls varsity wrestling match at Princeton. So right next door. It's a little bit easier commute than Mechanicsburg. But some great things coming up with all of our basketball program, our winter sports, as well as wrestling, both boys and girls wrestling. So go Warriors.
Yes.
Yes, exciting.
Very exciting. Thank you, Superintendent Denny. The next item on the agenda is 9.02, Student Achievement Report. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thanks again, President Bryant. 9.02 Student Achievement Report is a report about early warning systems for students who are working on graduating and watching those graduation pathways. It's the Each Child on Track, or ECOT, process, which will be presented to us by Dr. Tamara Ragland, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning for grades 7-12.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Where do we add all attendance? I'm looking at comparing the ones that we had from our regular meeting. Because we suggested that changes.
Good evening, Board. I'm here to discuss the Each Child on Track and Early Warning System initiative. We are in cohort 2 of this initiative. This is our second year of this initiative, and it has started at our high school last year. It was suggested to us that we join the cohort about 2.5 years ago, because we were already moving in this direction. We were already doing work in this direction. We had already created a dashboard that allowed us to identify at-risk students as well as prioritize the level of risk that those students may have arrived at that time. So attendance, we were looking at attendance, and our attendance is now reported in hours, and so we wanted to look at a combination of things, and we had to pull data from several siloed platforms, and so we had already created this massive dashboard, and because we were doing that work, our SST 13 consultant at the time, Dr. Lori Cargill, said, hey, you know, there's this great initiative that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce has started. They have a second cohort. You guys would be great candidates. You should consider it. And so we considered it, and it turned out to be a good fit for us. And so we joined along with Franklin City and Monroe Local for that cohort 2. So the purpose of Each Child on Track is to create the initiative is a state systemic improvement plan to provide a solid foundation and catalyst for systems change at the high school level. And you're thinking, well, what is that? That's a lot, right? Well, what that means is that we have a focus on ABC or attendance, chronic absenteeism in particular, behavior, as well as course performance. And so we're not focused on GPA necessarily. We're not focused on test scores necessarily. We can include those, but we're focused on how our students are doing, particularly in classes like English language arts and mathematics. But yes, we want to know if they failed any course. But just to be clear, we are looking at these things not every day, because this is a lot of information to compile. It is not easy to gather from several different sources, but we want to look at the beginning of the year. So within the first 20 to 25 days, how is the high school doing? It's kind of a temperature check in terms of attendance and chronic absenteeism. And then we revisit the same data quarterly. So there are different attendance definitions. There's average daily attendance, which I believe, Mr. Seymour, that's how we receive funding, right? It's based on average daily attendance or average daily membership?
Average daily membership.
Right. And so that's another definition. But we have average daily attendance, which is a school level measure, not a student measure. It actually masks individual student chronic absences. And that's because we have another definition called truancy, which counts only excused absences. It emphasizes individual compliance with rules, uses legal, typically more blaming and punitive solutions. And so when we look at chronic absenteeism, we're actually lowering that threshold. We're trying to catch students and be preventive before they actually reach truancy. And so chronic absenteeism counts all absences, excused, unexcused, and suspensions. It actually also includes tardies, because the state counts attendance in hours. So if you're tardy to school, whether you miss 20 minutes or whether you miss 5 hours, we're counting actually hours, not days anymore. And so tardiness also counts. It emphasizes the impact of missed days or partial days and benefits of being present. We're using preventive, problem-solving, trauma-sensitive strategies, and we are cultivating family and student engagement. So here you see data from last year from our middle school, grades 7 and 8. You see that juxtaposed with the state's data for grades 7 and 8. And you can see attendance-wise in the second category that we're not too far away. As a grade level for 7, we're looking at 89.2% attendance. As a state, we're at 91.7%. For grade 8, we're sitting at 90.1% attendance, and as a state, it's 91.2%. However, when you look at it through the lens of chronic absenteeism, and remember that definition is the number of students who've missed 10% or more. And so when you think about a student year being 180 days, 10% is 18 days. And so we have juxtaposed with our state data, our grade 7 is 38.7% versus 25.5. Grade 8 is 37.2% versus the state's 27.3%. So we have a greater difference between those percentages. And that's the number that we want to focus on, is reducing the chronic absenteeism. So what makes up those chronic absenteeism percentages at the middle school? So what that means is that 270 of the 681 middle school students missed 10% or more of school for any reason. So you might be thinking, well, what if they're excused? Under the definition of chronic absenteeism, it doesn't matter. They look at all absences. So 95 of those 681 missed 20% or more of school for any reason, and that would have been 13.95% of that. So of the 10% or more, 19.63% were tardy hours. and 80.37% were actually absent hours. So remember, tardiness counts because we're missing time in hours, and that all of that time counts regardless of the reason. And then here are the reasons that were given, and the top reason was actually no reason. 60.78% of students were out of school, and parents did not give a doctor's note or say that they were sick. There was no reason at all. Personal illness, 18.57%. Suspension, 11.23%. Doctor dental appointment, 5.41. Vacation was less than 1%. So in order to find students and identify students, one of the first things we had to do is create a dashboard. And I mentioned that we had already started on that path. We created a data dashboard because our data is siloed in different places. So if you're looking at discipline referrals, it's in Public School Works. If you're looking at attendance, it was in Dazzle, Progress Book. And so if you're looking at local test assessment scores or looking at MAP scores, state test scores, they were in different places as well. So we sought to bring all of this into one platform so that we could triangulate it, if you will, to try to identify students quickly, because that's the key. And so we have a data coach who's very adept at creating these dashboards. This is a library. It's a screenshot of the library of dashboards that he's created for us to sort through Ohio State test data, third grade reading data, as well as each child on track. And so that data dashboard looks like this. This is a snapshot of it. You can see the average Q1 attendance rate. You can see Q2, Q3, Q4, because we developed this last year. So we have all of this data showing for last year. We can see attendance rates, chronic absenteeism. We can sort students with disabilities, and we even now have those specific disabilities identified. So that was a new iteration for this year. So as we move along in this work, we're also learning and we're adding and changing some things. But we're looking at the discipline referrals, the chronic absenteeism, the course performance, grades, and overall the total risk. And so what you can't see here, because we need to be mindful of FERPA and keeping our students' privacy, is if I were to have this actual dashboard, I could scroll down, and depending on the filters that I select, I could actually have the actual students who meet those filters within seconds. And I can see why they meet that criteria, why they're at risk. I can see that they've missed 20.45 hours, and it does give it in decimals to the hundredth place. So with that, if you're looking at attendance, we have 3 tiers of attendance support. This is taken from MTSS, the MTSS model, or multi-tiered systems of support. And so for attendance, we have foundational supports that promote positive conditions for learning. So for example, at South Campus, we have the Health Connections Center here, right? So that's available to all of our students. That would be considered a foundational support. Then we have Tier 1 Universal Prevention. That's also for all students and families. So at the high school, we have monitors all around the building, and you will have brief blurbs, if you will, about the importance of attendance and coming to school. That would be considered a Tier 1 intervention. We also have Tier 2 early intervention, and that's targeting students who are missing anywhere from the 10% to 19%. And then we also have Tier 3, which is the intensive intervention, which are students missing 20% of school days or more. And so where we are right now, we have fully developed our Tier 1 universal prevention. We are working on and developing and tracking the Tier 2 and Tier 3 this year. So in doing that, though, we have to have attendance decision rules. In other words, how do we determine that a student is at risk and what level of risk? So this came from Franklin City Schools. I believe this was an example of their attendance decision rules that we looked at, because we do not want to recreate the wheel, but it gives us an idea of something that already exists. You know, how can we take this and make it our own? And if you notice, their decisions are based on the number of hours that students are absent. And so at those absenteeism thresholds, they are choosing who and what to do. So what person, so for example, a parent phone call with the script provided, documentation at least 2 attempts, the advisory teacher is going to do that. So they identify who is going to do what with the decision rules and at what threshold. We took this, and I think we created something really amazing, because we've got some awesome people at our high school. So this is what we're calling our attendance swim lanes, because it looks like swim lanes, but they too are decision rules. And you see that our decision rules are very similar, but we chose even hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40, etc. And so we have identified what committee or position and what the role would be in regard to that student. So for example, the attendance committee at the 20-hour threshold would send a parent square communication. At the 30-hour threshold, they would also send a follow-up, another parent square communication. And so you can see at the 20-hour threshold, though, we've got several roles identified in terms of what they're going to do. So not only the attendance committee, but teachers, counselors, the attendance support specialists are all going to have some sort of input and role and responsibility with regard to those students who meet the 20-hour threshold. So that's how you would look at this document here, this picture of what looks like swim lanes, which I thought were really cute. I've never heard of a swim lane. But I think, you know, you can see that the attendance support specialist, who's someone who's hired to specifically address attendance, you notice that they have a role and responsibility at every hourly threshold that we've identified here. So what are some things that we could do, you ask? So for Tier 1, we've got celebrations. We have identified students and actually taken their names and just put them in the main hallway of the high school on the glass, just so everyone can see them. We've also celebrated them by taking them bowling. So students who had met the threshold of a 3.0 or higher, they, for course performance and made the honor roll, they, along with the students who had perfect attendance, were recognized and taken on a bowling trip. So we personalize our communication to families. We have positive messaging. We actually have scripts designed for this. We have caring adults who are connected to them. We emphasize the impact of attendance, and we communicate that through Parent Square. Every Wednesday, there's a message that goes out to parents and to students, in addition to what students will see on the walls, on the monitors throughout the school. Tier 2, we're looking at check-in, check-out. This is an adult that's identified to work with a student. We will do family visits. We try to identify those barriers. We have restorative conversations and alternatives to discipline and suspension, and we look at learning options, expanded learning options like tutoring. Tier 3, this is when we're getting closer to, you know, truancy, and we're trying to keep them from getting there, but we might have them go before an attendance review board. We do have an attendance committee established at the high school. We have community-based non-criminal truancy court. We have success plans. So all of our students at the high school, and actually grades 6 through 12, will have success plans if they are deemed to be at risk for any reason. And then legal intervention is always our last resort in regard to attendance. And so what we're trying to provide is a robust continuum of support, multi-tiered systems of support. We tend to associate that with elementary grade levels, and through Each Child on Track and developing our early warning system, we are now extending that up through secondary. And so you can see that there's a comparison contrast where elementary is the prevention of poor learning outcomes, and at the high school level, we're trying to prevent dropout. In the middle, we're looking at dropout prevention also, because students don't come to high school with bad habits ingrained. They actually start earlier, and so we want to catch them in middle school. We also have academic tiered support for students. So we're looking at explicit instruction, small group instruction. We have a word for that because we are a New Tech Network school district, and our word for small group that you hear a lot is workshops, but they are synonymous. They are one and the same. They're skill or content based. We are differentiating our instruction, and we have evidence-based, data-based instruction. So we're talking about really great reading, and we're moving into math. Math is going to be another focus for us within the next year. Tier 2, we have academic interventions such as rewards or ZERN. We also have ST Math, again, check in, check out for academics. We have class-wide interventions to support targeted students, and we also have mentoring programs. So, for example, we use Dream Builders at the secondary level to support students who are having difficulty with either academics or behavior. We also have our intensive personalized tutoring. The middle school does have high dosage tutoring in their math skills class that's happening for them. We have one-on-one tutoring. We have intensive research-based programs and extended after-hour programming. So we offer homework help, after-school help at both high school and middle school as well. Behavior, we have explicit, clear expectations that are taught to all students. We have consistent expectations and routines. We redirect students. We have a consistent acknowledgement and corrective systems. Again, check in, check out. That's a common tier 2, regardless of attendance, behavior, or course performance. And then at this level, we also have behavior plans. And sometimes we tend to associate behavior plans with students who are on IEPs or 504s only. That's not true. Any student, regardless of having an IEP, could have a behavior intervention plan. We can place them outside of school for outside of the school environment for intervention, and then of course we have multi-tiered systems of support. I mean, basically all of these tiers provide strategies for teachers to use and identify, to work with and help and support students when they're struggling. So our next steps this year are to discuss assigning students flagged as at risk with interventions and monitoring them. So where we started was we've got the plan, we've got the tool, we've got a dashboard that helps us to identify students, and we refined that dashboard, and now it's, well, what do we do once we identify students? So we have, through the use of a platform called Abre, Rhonda has helped with the utilization of that and making that our own. We have templates that we've developed, and so now we have a place where all of these intervention plans can go and be housed, and all the people, adults who are assigned to work with students, have a role of responsibility, can access these plans. So we also want to expand our early warning system process to the middle school, so we're in the process of doing that. They have recently identified decision rules of their own in regard to attendance, behavior, and course performance. And then we're going to continue to host some professional development workshops and meetings dedicated to Each Child on Track and student and school improvement. One of the things that has come out of this, the high school really took hold of it over the summer. created a committee system. And so their attendance committee, their instruction committee, their MTSS committee, as well as their discipline committee was born this summer out of this work in an attempt to create a whole school that is now involved. It's not just one person's job or a few people, but now the whole school is responsible for some aspect of this work. And this is big work. I mean, it's trying to move and turn around a school or a district. I heard somebody at a recent conference, they said, it's not like being on jet skis and being turned around by a boat. You know, you're really trying to turn around an ocean liner. It's much bigger, much harder, takes longer, and of course in doing that you want to make sure you don't hit any icebergs. So we have a huge team of people that are responsible for moving this work, and so I and Eric Martin co-lead it together, but we have people across the district as well who are also responsible. And one thing I would like to say too is that we have representatives from Alternative School, Kelly Roselle, Tanya Bray, our Executive Director of Student Services, and school psychs. We've got counselors. We also have our state support team and our data coaches. And I would like to say that our data coaches are awesome in taking the data, helping us to make it make sense, and giving it to teachers in a way and fashion that helps them to make great instructional decisions for their classes. So that concludes my presentation, and if you have any questions, I can discuss those with you.
Who wants to start? Or is it just me that has questions?
We can start.
Okay.
You might have the same one I have.
I do have a question. On slide 5, first of all, thank you so much for this comprehensive report.
Oh, you're welcome.
You guys have probably heard me, and the public has heard my walking tales in the summertime of students or in the beginning of the school year, and students are tardy. And as you can see, tardiness plays into this, so it's really important that the community and everyone understands what's happening, what work we're doing. But I wanted to see, on slide 5, under chronic absence, it says that cultivates family and student engagement. What is the plan for cultivating family and student engagement? Because when you look at the bucket that says there was no reason given for them being absent or tardy,
exactly
it's
my
like, so what can we do, and how can the public and everyone listening understand this work is not just our work at the high school or middle school or, ECCC, but students and families as well?
So at the upper levels, we try to involve families as much as possible, and we've learned that we've had to chunk activities. So we're inviting people to more than one event at the same time in order to reach out to parents and grab parents and get them to the school. So initially for us, that included making phone calls. So the number of students who are absent, the sheer number on one day, can be overwhelming. And so part of the committee structure that was created, like I said, was we have to divide and conquer, so to speak. And so teachers are responsible for a number of students and making those phone calls. And like I said, in having scripts, having the attendance-focused parent square. And so those things are an effort to bring a level of awareness to parents and engage them in conversation, because parents can respond through Parent Square too. And there are times when we get responses from them in regard to the communication that they receive. So I know recently, Mr. Martin at the high school had an attendance committee meeting, and one of the tasks was they were going to send out a Parent Square communication, and he wanted their attendance members to look at and identify who's responding and what's the response. What are they saying? And then they want to take those responses and look for common themes and use that information to make more decisions. Where do we want to go next? What do we want to do with this information? So it's still a work in progress. We're not done. We're not there yet. but we're working on it, working on getting better.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was my exact question. I mean, because on slide 5 and then on slide 7 is where you gave us that high percentage of 60%. So I'm like, oh, well, how is that working? So that kind of answers my question that I had too. You said that you also, on slide 5, you talked about the chronic absenteeism as being, that the tardies count through the number of hours attended, that the
Yes.
students. So what, did I miss you saying what that percentage was? I mean, like, when you say the number of hours, what are those hours? How many hours before they, like, in other words, does 10 tardies equal an absence? I guess that's what I'm looking for. Is there a number
No.
like that? It's not like that. It's just the number of hours in a day
school
or
day.
in the course of a.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Because I know, like, some schools do that, like, after so many tardies, then they count it as an absence. But that's not what you're talking about.
No.
You're talking about actual hours in a day, like if they go to school 7.5 hours in a day.
Right.
That's what's counted, okay.
I did just have one more question. You mentioned math, and then, so it made me think about the reading adoption that we have to do, and that math would be incorporated in. Are we gonna be changing our math curriculum anytime soon?
So, yes, we have a survey that's been developed.
Okay.
And so I'm waiting for Mr. Denny's approval, and if he gives me the green light, it'll be sent out tomorrow to math teachers and principals for their input. So we're looking to gather information around comfortability with teachers' current teaching assignments, their level of math knowledge, differentiation, PRBL, problem-based learning, which is what we do in our math classrooms at the secondary level, in addition to PBL, and then also AI, because AI is here. We are looking at how comfortable teachers are with that and how we may be able to utilize that and leverage it in our math classrooms as well.
Sounds like we're trying to put some things in place so the education and instruction is robust for students. So if
Yes.
one of their reasons that they're not listening is I'm bored in school, we can hopefully address that. Or I don't get the concept that nobody's listening to me, that we can
Right.
put strategies in place for them to learn and grow. Thank you.
I have a question, and first of all, thank you for the thoroughness of this.
No problem.
So with, this is really only the second year, but do we have a goal for, or an expectation for the improvement over the course of the year? Or we just don't have that data yet?
So we do have a graduation goal. It's in our one plan.
Right.
And actually, our graduation goal was to improve, I believe it was by 3% from the prior year. Well, the prior year at the time the one plan was written was 89.0. And so we are this close from meeting and almost exceeding that goal. So what you haven't seen, but I've seen, because it's in our secure data center and it hasn't been published yet, is that our graduation goal is sitting at like 92 point something. I don't remember the exact, but we have already met that. It's just, it hasn't been published yet. So that's one of our goals for sure.
How about absenteeism?
So we definitely want to improve our attendance, but the goal is to reduce chronic absenteeism.
But we don't have a specific goal based on
We do.
last year to this year?
Yeah, I can add to that.
Go
It's, goal number 1 in the one plan has to do with graduation rate, but also has to do with chronic absenteeism. So the goal is 3% per year for 5 years for an overall improvement of 15 cumulative percentage points. And so where that happened last year, our goal is to try to make that improve again this year by at least another 3%. That'll cause us to approach the state average, and eventually, provided, with success, we'll surpass the state average. That's the goal.
So doing it incrementally and over time, a huge jump.
Dr. Reckman, something you said I wanted to just kind of reiterate is that this doesn't start in high school, right? That chronic absenteeism is something that you probably see in preschool and when the kids aren't controlling when they get to school. So it's really important for parents to understand how important it is for your kid to show up. We understand that appointments happen and those kind of things during the business hours, but kids develop those habits and they monitor them. 20 hours, if you think about 20 hours, how many of us can miss half a week of work and still have a job all the time, right? Or without an FMLA or some type of, legal reason why, or off on leave. So it's really important that students understand that their absenteeism here and attendance is going to impact their future careers, employment, their ability to get through a college course, because you have to show up, you have to be present. So it's important that they understand that it's not just the numbers and data,
Right.
it's lifelong.
And 20 hours is about 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll also just briefly add, just a shout out to the high school staff and their team for doing a deep dive with students and doing some focus groups and some pulling them aside and surveying students to try to really understand what's driving this, what's going on, and that's resulted in, I think, some good information and data that we're going to look at as a team and as a leadership team and share some of those things as well.
Right.
My last question, you mentioned Parent Square as one of the interventions. So Rhonda, I'm looking at you directly. Do we know, maybe not, how many parents or the percentage of parents that are on Parent Square? And what are our efforts to increase that number so all parents can get the information that they deserve and need?
We definitely do know that number. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I could run it. It's pretty high.
Good.
We have good contactability rates too, which means we have good valid information for our families. The phone numbers are good and the email addresses are good. When things bounce, the front offices try to communicate with the family somehow, either sending a note home or whatnot, to get valid or updated information from the families too.
Great, thank you. That's great news.
When we send out a Parent Square notice that a child is absent, do we get a response back?
We do, and we probably, like at the high school, out of, I don't know how many we go out on a day, anywhere from 100 to 100 and 200, we might get 20-some responses back, so,
So not really significant.
correct. But it comes right across as a text to the family, like right on the phone, and it's their time to engage with it, to let us know the reason why, and they can just submit the reason very easily, and then the front office can code it.
So it does ask for a response, they just
Does.
don't respond.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
No reason given. 60%.
Yeah, about 61% of the
Yeah,
time. So
61%
39% of the
time.
time a reason's coming,
Yeah,
but that's
so that's, yeah.
not half. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's different.
Okay.
That's something we've just started having more conversations about too, is that's something we really need to lean into and understand more. How do we
And I
increase
think-
that rate to find out? Because that's an excused absence potentially. Not that chronic absenteeism cares, but truancy does.
Right, right. That's what I was getting ready to say. It wouldn't carry in one category, but it would matter in the other category. So, but I appreciate this information. It's really good, just to break it down. The other thing you talked about with students with disability, being able to take and break that information down. Because sometimes they have a whole different situation or dynamic going on with whether they're, it's the learning part or whether it's the absentee part, if they have medical issues that go along with their disability. So I like to see that information is being broken down, because when we first started with all the state testing, they're like, oh, students with disabilities have to pass on the same level as everybody else. I was like, what? I mean, that didn't make absolute sense to me, but I think breaking it down like this and actually showing, where things are happening makes more sense to me,
Right. And not just, are they a student with a disability, but what specific disability do they have?
Right, that's what I'm saying,
So-
breaking it all down. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad to see that.
Any other questions? Ms. Martin, Mr. Smith?
No.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Very
this
thorough.
a lot.
Thank you for giving us that time.
Thanks,
for that
Dr.
robust
Ragland.
discussion. Yes. Next item on the agenda is 9.03, facilities updates. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. 9.03, the facilities update. This will be an update on what's happening with our facility master plan, and it is presented by Mr. Jeremy Day, Executive Director of Business Affairs.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Got a few things here for you tonight. Beechwood's primary north demolition is very near completion at this point. Building is not there anymore. At this point, they are finishing up the grading. They're going to be doing the grass and the seeding and the straw here very soon. I am going to be meeting with Green Hills here sometime very soon to see if they want us to do something special or particular with the former exit and entrance of the property, to keep people out of the property, things like that. I'm going to make contact with them tomorrow to see what they want us to do there. We also, once we get to the end of this, which it's going to kind of slow down for now, they are going to be doing the seeding and the strawing fairly soon because it's kind of a dormant time to do that right now. But we want to walk the ground to make sure that it's, let's say it's a safe area. Sometimes things get left behind, whether it be concrete pieces, rebar, things like that. Sometimes in the ground, as it moves around, things just kind of find its way to the top, from what I've heard. So we're going to make kind of routine rounds on the property just to make sure it's safe that way. The stadium fencing, we've got a zoning commission meeting on January 14th. That is being rescheduled from tomorrow evening. It was supposed to be tomorrow evening. They did reschedule that to January 14th. So we're kind of at a holding pattern there at that point. The new board, yes.
Did we ever find out about the signage that's on the existing fence? If we can reuse that? I know there was plan about it.
We definitely can. We're definitely going to reuse it, whether it's on the new fence or whether it's on the baseball outfield. We definitely want to use it somewhere. A cost like that, we don't want to not use it, and it's still in very, very good shape, so we definitely want to use that space. The new fencing being 10 feet high, we need to take a look at options, to see what looks best and things like that. We haven't had those conversations yet because we're kind of in a holding pattern right now, so I didn't really want to engage with that too much yet. But that windscreen that we currently have will definitely be being used this spring on the baseball field anyway, just because size-wise makes sense, and I think it would be a nice visual backdrop for that area, for that. Good question, thank you. Thank you. New boardroom space, after we had some recommendations from you all, in the last month, that's just about ready to go. Materials came in today. They were really, really good suggestions, and we took those immediately. Bought the things we needed to buy to make sure the space is good for you guys and for the community. It's been a great collaboration with Waycross. They've met with us twice now out there. Both times on pretty short notice to come out there, but they're excited about the space too. I know you guys love this room. I know you do. I know you do, especially Dr. I know. Well, Waycross loves it as well. So they're looking forward to the new space. It's going to work out really, really well for everybody. So I think it'll be nice. So, but it's been a great collaboration with Waycross. They've been phenomenal throughout this whole thing. So it's been a lot of help. So, if there's any questions from there.
I know we're sitting here talking about these chairs.
Yes. We'll be glad not to be homeless. I've felt a little homeless the last 2-3 years.
And this is a great room.
I mean,
it's a great
space.
classroom
Yes,
space.
yes.
It's a great classroom space.
And they
my kids are in it
serve us
now.
well, but
yes,
we just don't want to be homeless.
yes,
I
it's
feel like
understandable.
nomads,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be nice.
Thanks to the board and the team and everyone else for being flexible.
Yeah.
We're getting close.
Yes.
Yeah, flying out there.
And the new area, when we looked at it, it really does look nice.
Looks
And
good.
It's gonna be a nice space.
Yeah, they did a nice job with it. So just some finishing touches right now. And we should be good to go.
And just
January.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's coming.
And we do not have an update on the property in Forest Park that was the former, elementary school.
We'll keep
As
asking.
soon as we hear more, we'll let you know. Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
Thank you, Mr. Day.
All right, thank you so much. Moving on to agenda item 10.01, under superintendent recommendations. It's 10.01 personnel schedules. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Personnel schedules, board would be to, you should have before you 4 personnel schedules, A, C, D, and E. The recommended action would be to approve those personnel schedules as presented.
Board?
I move we approve the personnel schedules as presented.
I'll second.
It's been approved in second. Any discussion or questions? I think I did have one. Hold on. I do have a question on, oh gosh, I've clicked so many buttons, I can't remember which one, sorry. Not the wings. Schedule D. At the very bottom, it says mentors for resident educator, and it's got, oh, never mind, I didn't see that part. I answered my own question.
Oh, okay.
The name and the educator, so no, that was it. Can you just really quickly, the mentors, are these, the resident educators, are these students, and this is the mentor for the student, or?
Resident educators are teachers that are new to the profession. So they're recent graduates who are in the first 1 to 4 years of their teaching profession. Previously, it was a 4-year residency. It's recently been changed to 2-year residency. But we have some people that are finishing up 4 years and some people that are on a 2-year track.
Great, thank you.
And it's a state-required program.
It's state required, it's very prescribed, and we have a wonderful facilitator, Lisa Giblin, who's a veteran teacher, and she is wonderful with our new teachers.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that, that was my only question. Anybody else have a question? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next item on the agenda is 10.02, second read board policies. Superintendent Denny.
Thank you again, Ms. Bryant, and Ms. Wilson, thank you. 10.02 is a second read board. It is a new board policy. It's 2265, protections of individual beliefs, affiliations, ideals, and or principles of political movements and ideology. And this particular policy came from the lame duck session. It was rather rapid in terms of turnaround. In fact, it's one of the quickest I feel like I've seen, where we found out about this, I believe, the week of Thanksgiving break, and it needed to be in place by January. I believe this is the one that needed to be in place by January 25th, which would precede the projected date for the next board meeting. So board, we did our first read, second read process starting, and thank you for being flexible, by the way, but did our first read at the work session in early December with an eye toward the second read being tonight, given the fact that this is such a compressed time frame from our lawmakers in Columbus. But we want to be sure that we do the best we can to always comply with the laws and the expectations of school systems and school districts. And so you should have before you at this time new policy 2265, protections of individual beliefs, affiliations, ideals, principles, political movements, and ideology. And the recommended action board would be to approve the second read as presented.
Thank you, Superintendent Denny. Board, a motion is in order.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the second read of the new board policy 2265, protections of individual beliefs, affiliations, ideals, and principles of political movements and ideologies as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. Any questions? Comments? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, will you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye. That vote passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 10.03. Superintendent Denny, you have the floor.
Thank you, President Bryant and Board. Thank you for that. 10.03 is a second read for another new policy, this time for a different reason, but still on a compressed time frame or an accelerated time frame, which again is the reason for second read this particular meeting, first read at the work session. In this case, it is in alignment with college timeframes for semesters. We're rapidly approaching the end of the first semester. In order for this to be a potential benefit to our employees, this is the Growing Our Own program board, where we're looking to cultivate teachers among our own ranks and help them with their college tuition and things of that nature. So unlike tuition reimbursement, this is proactive. This is on the front end to help those employees who might not have upfront capital to invest in that. Again, the accelerated time frame in this case is as a result of trying to be sure that we're ready for second semester. So again, board, thank you for your flexibility. But you should have before you the Growing Our Own program and a policy that would enable us to come alongside promising staff that we recommend to pursue teaching licensure. So the recommended action at this time, board, would be to approve the second read, new policy Growing Our Own as presented.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the second read of the new policy, Growing Our Own, as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions or items for discussion?
I just want to say I do appreciate a program like this. Developing educators that you see are promising in the field and that are being recognized as that. So I appreciate that.
I agree, I second that. I also do want to just call attention that the retroactive date will be July 1st, 2024, is that correct? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. No, I think this is a phenomenal program. We don't want financial cost to be a reason
A
that some
deterrent.
wonderful, could be, certified teacher not become a teacher. So I think the fact that our district has something like this speaks to how we care for our employees. So thank you guys for doing that. It's pretty exciting. Anything else? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Seymour?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Aye. Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, second item. Next item on the agenda is for, reports by the Board of Education, 11.01 legislative report. Dr. Johnson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. The full legislative report is uploaded to Board Docs. There were a total of 42 pages of legislative report, and with over 100 House and Senate bills. And they are all scheduled to continue. And that really is because of the time frame that we're in. They were doing a lot of meeting, the lame duck session, trying to push a lot of these policies through. Some they got through, some, many they did not. And that's the 42 pages of continued things that I've already talked about. So you can just go out and look at them, and it just says continue all the way down. There's two that I do want to highlight, that the committee heard sponsors and proponents' testimony on House Bill 206 to allow superintendents to expel students for longer periods of time who pose an imminent threat to others. However, again, there was no vote taken, and the House Bill 206 will appear on the schedule again, but that was kind of a new one that it came forward. And Senate Bill 295 is a bill that was established to establish a new process for poor-performing school buildings and closures. And I didn't write down the House bill and the Senate bill number, but one of our neighboring schools actually was mentioned in this in this process. But it did say that it did receive some pushback, but to date, none of the schools that were facing closure specifically was mentioned in Senate Bill 295, but one of our neighboring schools was mentioned with the, poor performing buildings or poor performing schools. So, like I say, the full legislative report is listed. There's a lot of continuations. And there's conversations that, were had. That was probably like the first 5 pages, and then a bunch of continuations. So just stay tuned. I mean, we got a lot of things that we're going to be looking at, and maybe some of this will just fall off because maybe the new administration won't feel the same way about it. We just don't know. So, but there are some things that could affect how we do business, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got for the legislative report.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Yeah, 42 pages of fun.
Love to read.
The next item on the agenda is 11.02, Great Oak Career Technical Center report. And again, thank you, Mr. Birdie, for always submitting this report. I don't know if you guys saw the spotlight. We had a student in the spotlight.
Yes. Yeah, we should mention them.
And I'm gonna find it, because of course, with what
Sean Nelson.
Thank you. Beat me to it.
Certification in exam, he passed exam in coding and web
Yes,
design.
Yes, very exciting. So congratulations, Mr. Nelson. It's wonderful and great information there. Any other questions? Anything else anyone wants to highlight? Great, thank you. Next item on the agenda is board motions and recommendation 12.01 for us to set the date, time, and location of the organizational meeting for 2025. So board, we have an action here. Who would like to do it?
Motion.
Yep, motion? Anyone?
I'll make them,
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that the board will set the date and time and location of the organizational meeting for January the 3rd, 2025 at 1 p.m. at the Early Childhood Center, Campus Stage, Room 184. That address is 825 Waycross Road, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay. Motion and second. Any questions or items for discussion?
I just want to say that that is an unusual time, for our viewers. That is an unusual time, but we had to schedule it within the confines of this board when everybody could make it to that meeting. This is our organizational meeting. Some of our folks were traveling or doing different things on their job, and so we. It's kind of it's a Friday, it's at 1 o'clock, it's not our normal time, but, it was a consensus that we could make it at that time, so, just to kind of say that, because you do need to meet for your organizational meeting within the first, 15 days of the year. So, we were gonna be missing someone throughout that time, so just wanted to add the reason, the logic for why we picked that time.
Thank you for that, yes. All right, anything else? No? Mr. Seymour, call for the vote.
Mrs. Knighton?
aye.
Mr. Smith? Aye. Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is 12.02, to appoint a president pro tempore. Board, a motion is in order, and this is for the organizational meeting in 2025.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dr. Viola Johnson as President Pro Tempore.
I always do it. I want one of my new members to do it. You want to do it, Angela? You want to try? I'll give you information.
It's just so you can run this meeting.
Yeah, I made my nomination.
I'm sorry. I'm out of order. I am so out of order. I'm sorry. I just do it all the time, and I don't mind doing it, but I think it would be nice to expose our new members to doing it. So,
Let the record show, I guess I'm going to rescind my nomination.
well, no, would you nominate Angela, and I'll second it?
So I can't make my initial nomination?
Well, you can. Okay, and I'll deny it. I'll, whatever.
Board. Can I have
I'm
Madam
out of
President, I'd like
That I
to make a
apologize.
nomination to appoint Mrs. Knighton as our President Pro Tem until the President is appointed at the 2025 organizational meeting.
Thank you, Mr.
And I'd
Seymour.
like to second that.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. It has been motioned and second. Any questions?
Nope. I'd like, for the record, I made that under duress.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your statement. Mr. Seymour, can you call for the vote?
Mrs. Knighton?
Aye.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Spielman?
Aye.
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Bryant?
Aye, that vote passes unanimously.
Why?
Did he vote?
Yes, I believe.
Yeah, he
it.
voted. He did. Next item on the agenda are comments from the members of the Board of Education and Superintendent. Who would like to start? This is item 13.01.
I'll start first. Thank you for the nomination. I appreciate your confidence in me. But I really just want to say, please use this time over the next couple of weeks to truly take a break and enjoy each other, enjoy the people that you're able to spend time with, and truly hope for a restful break filled with a little bit of joy. So I will pass it on to the next person.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I hope everybody enjoys their break with a lot of joy, not just a little bit of joy, with a lot of joy. And just there's a lot of wonderful things going on in the district. Kudos to the choir and the band that just got back from Orlando, received a lot of praise and videos and things, and showcasing the Warriors in Orlando, so that was very exciting. And just to all of those who are participating in our winter sports, thank you for representing our district in excellence. Unfortunately, I was at a game where the schools were not representing in excellence, and so it made me just appreciate how we conduct ourselves, whether we're inside of our own facility or at somebody else's facility. So thank you to all of our Warriors, our teachers, all of those coaches who instill good sportsmanship in all of our young people. And definitely enjoyed the holiday season, enjoyed the break, and let's come back in 2025 and really hit it strong, and go Warriors.
Okay, well, thank you, Madam President. Just congratulations and special thank you to all of our students, to Mrs. Thaxton, the community members, the retired officer, Veda Harris, and Dr. Monica Swope, even though she was absent. She's been a real blessing to this community. And Colonel William Arns, for your dedication and sacrifice in serving the district. I believe I do speak for all the board when we say that we are very proud of the accomplishments of our students. And I really do believe that the footwork that they're putting in now today will make them a leader tomorrow. It's not happenstance. It will grow and they will become our leaders of tomorrow. I want to thank you to the varsity ensemble who sang for us so beautifully, and that they represented us really well in Disney if that's the voice they took, because I was listening for the harmony and it was on point. Absolutely, it was absolutely beautiful. Also, a special congratulations to our own Dr. Adrienne Martin for her recognition as one of the top 50 women leaders in Cincinnati for 2024. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. That's no small feat to be nominated for that award. So we have a lot, as Brandon has said, we have a lot, really positive things going on. We have excellent administrators, teachers, and staff that care for our students every day, and we really appreciate you. We just want to say thank you, happy holiday, and in the season of giving, don't forget to give back something that you wouldn't normally do. Do something outside of yourself for somebody else, and it will make you feel so much better this holiday season. So thank you, have a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I too would like to extend congratulations to all of our student and teacher award winners tonight, and especially retirement honors to Officer Harris. That's just an accomplishment. I'd also like to thank Dr. Ragland for that thorough presentation. It was a lot of time, and we just appreciate it as a board. Again, I'd like to recognize Sean Nelson, who received a certification in coding and web design. And I'd like to pray and bless our students with determination, clear minds, plenty of rest, and focused study time as they prepare and take exams over the next 4 days in whatever level they're in. And finally, I'd like to wish all of our families, our staff, and our community a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Bryant. And so just I reiterate some of the things that have been said, but I think we wrote down some of the same items, and that's okay. But Varsity Ensemble, stellar performance. I mean, every time I hear them, I'm reminded how amazing they are. They are a truly talented, skilled bunch of young people, and it's just an honor to hear them perform. Want to give a shout out to our high school orchestra as well. They did a wonderful job at our business partner luncheon last week. I was really impressed that they were very classy and, again, very skilled, a lot of time and effort. So just thankful for them and their appearance at that event on behalf of our business community and our Winton Woods business partners. Thankful to the partners that showed up as well. So thanks to the businesses that were able to make it. The Disney trip, by all accounts, was a huge success. So wanted to thank the board for approving that, making that possible. Our staff that went along, all the chaperones. It's just an incredible lift, and our students just showed up and they represented in the highest of fashions. So really proud of the band, large number of students that got to go, and Varsity Ensemble again for representing us on the streets of Disney. So that was pretty fantastic. Excited about the ECCC for the home of our board meetings. This may be the last time we have a board meeting in this room. So looking forward to that change and that new venue. Wanted to give a shout out to our executive team. So everybody here tonight, thank you. We're approaching the halfway mark of the school year. Thank you for everything you do, the hard work. Dr. Martin, congrats. Courtney, I was remiss. I meant to say thank you for the Growing Our Own and working on that and helping make that a reality. And then Dr. Ragland, thanks for the presentation tonight. And then Jeremy, thanks for your presentation. We have a great team, so I'm really honored to work with them. I want to make sure we shout out to the principals and our staff as well for all their hard work, and the teaching staff and all of the support staff and the drivers and the security monitors. And I don't want to leave anybody out, but we've got a great team in Winton Woods. It takes all of them to make this happen. It does not happen without them. And just on that note, happy holidays to everybody, our families, our staff, our community, and thanks for everything.
Great, thank you. I will not take up much of your time, but I know that everyone's hit the highlights of thanking everyone. I wanted to do an additional shout out to the boys wrestling team. This past Saturday, I had the honor of attending the Everett Moore Invitational hosted by North College Hill High School, and Winton was there. I was there to see a cousin that goes to another school, and then another cousin's child was there as well, so it was a great thing. Our boys wrestling team represented well. They came in second out of the 18 teams, and they won a trophy, and this is the first trophy they've had in 6 years for boys wrestling, so shout out to them. Mikhail Freeman, 5th place freshman. Freshman Leonte Lattimore, 4th place. Sophomore Malik Cruz, 3rd place. Sophomore Keon Roberts, 2nd place. Junior Kenneth Bailey, 5th place. Junior Damian Colbert, 1st place. And senior Eric Morris, Jr., 1st place. So congratulations. Wrestling's near and dear to my heart. I was a wrestler in high school and my boys wrestled, so I'm a wrestling soccer mom, but I wanted to make sure that they understood that it's not just basketball and football. We love our wrestlers as well. So thank you for including their schedules. And same thing for the girls wrestling team as well. Yes, and shout out to the coaches. As we all know, to all of our coaches, it takes a lot. Wrestling is a special sport because you're there from like 8 or 9 in the morning, and I think it was 7 or 8 before they were done. So it's an all-day love affair, and you're going from mat to mat, encouraging these young people. So thank you for being there. Thank you for continuing to show up for our young men and women. It's greatly appreciated. I also want to just express my heartfelt gratitude to the entire Winton Woods community and our students for your support, making my year as the board president truly memorable. I'm deeply appreciative of the collaboration and teamwork from the fellow board members, as well as from the Winton Woods admin team. So thank you so much. And as we prepare for the holiday time, please be safe. Heartfelt condolences to the staff and students of Abundant Life Christian School and that terrible school shooting today. Tomorrow's not promised, so please treat each other well. Please make sure that we are putting our best foot forward wherever we go. Please have a safe and wonderful holiday season. Again, thank you to our community partner, Winton Woods Media, for showing up, for videotaping, and smiling through all of it. So we appreciate you. So happy holidays. Mr. Seymour, do you have anything to say?
What could I possibly Just have a great holiday, everyone.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is 14.01, adjournment. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.